So this is going to be part two, a little bit more of like the nuance of what I was going over, because I kind of touched on a lot of things, but it's hard to get it all in 10 minutes. And for this, we're going to use the whiteboard. So one of the reasons why engineers are the highest group of millionaires is because they systematize everything. And I'm going to show you how this is done. Don't mind this. This is my quadratic formula that I designed. Okay, so you're going to have your broker. Could be Schwab, could be Fidelity, Robinhood, whatever. Interactive brokers, I don't really care. So you can get like the Robinhood Gold card. We can go over Schwab. We can go over E-Trade. E-Trade has, like you can quite literally get a debit card attached to your account. So when you charge it, it's just going to show up as like a negative in your account. Schwab, if you have a brokerage account, you have to do, well, let me actually enjoy a diagram. All right, so in my last video, I mentioned that you can get like a credit card. So we'll use Schwab, for instance, because no one can get there. It takes like a year and a half to get the Robinhood Gold card. E-Trade, you can get like a debit card and it will charge directly to your account, which is great. A lot of people do this, okay? We'll do Schwab. I'm not familiar with Fidelity, unfortunately. So you're going to have your taxable brokerage account, which is where, your Apple shares or whatever are growing, okay? And then you'll also open up a regular checking account with them, okay? Because Schwab doesn't offer a debit card, and unless you have, it's like 250K is like the starting point of liquid assets. They won't give you a credit card, and a lot of people don't have that yet. So we're gonna kind of go around that, and we're just gonna kind of do the backdoor version. You're going to open up a checking account. You don't have to, hell, you can put $10 in it if you want. You don't have to put anything in it. They don't have, and you're going to automate your bills from this, right? So you're going to do, we're going to say you have, 100K in Amazon stock, or, 100K in SPYI, which will pay you $12K a year in dividends, or $1,000 a month. Okay, which is pretty good. So what you're going to do is you're going to get this debit account, or you can use a credit card if you want, and then you can auto pay the credit card out of this account. Okay, if you want to stack the miles, that's fine. But how most engineers do it, I have a couple friends who do this. Okay, so they're going to pay their Verizon bill and their mortgage and their electric, and they're going to do auto pay out of this account. Okay, even though that they only have $10 in it, because this account and this account are at the same firm. They're both at, say, Schwab. Sorry about my crappy handwriting. Even though you only have $10 in here, say this comes to $1,000. Okay, they're going to do an overdraft. They're going to pull the money from this out of margin. There is no fee to do this. They will do it automatically. Okay. Meanwhile, so you just incurred $1,000 debt in margin. SPYI is going to pay you $1,000. Now you're back to zero. And then you just keep on revolving. Now, how does this grow? This is slightly going to grow, or if you have Amazon, you can do that. These will grow, right? And you can keep on doing this. over and over and over again. It's a perpetual cycle. Or if you have a job, what a lot of people do that have a job, a W-2 or they're self-employed or whatever, they will direct deposit their entire paycheck. And this is really, it's kind of like working out. It's like time and attention. They will direct deposit directly into this account, and they will buy more of this or whatever, like I mentioned the other one, QQQI, which is the NASDAQ index fund, pays 12%, which is $12,000 a year. And what happens is that, maybe you make 50 grand a year, that's going to grow. It's going to outpace your living expenses. This is going to grow, right, significantly higher. Now it's $1,800 a month that you're earning. Now you can put more stuff on it, or you can borrow against it. And the more that this grows, it's just going to create perpetual motion. And eventually, this account is going to I call it the inflection point. It's like this. This is your asset side. Your assets are going to continue to grow past your liabilities, your monthly expenses. And you're going to reach an inflection point where it no longer matters. Like it's because you're putting money into the assets, it's going out the liabilities, and eventually it might be 5 years, 3 years, 10 years. Your assets are going to keep growing significantly past your liability expenses because the money kind of goes like this. As you can see right here, it goes in this account, it gets withdrawn out of that account, which is not taxable, which is great, right? Because it's debt. There's a small portion of this that is going to be taxable. All right, it's a very small portion, and it's going to be lower than your W-2 income. But again, this is growing at a faster rate, this is why this is important. Because say you make, say you had 2015, okay, so you had 100 grand. I just did another video on this. So you had 100 grand in, savings. We have printed off so much money. On average, we print off 10% a year, plus inflation is, say, 2% a year. That's 12%. That means that 100 grand in buying power is only worth like 27,000 in 2025 because it's compounding interest negatively. So you never actually want to hold the money in a savings account. You want to put it here first, automate your bills. It'll overdraft protection for free in the form of debt, and that debt will pay off your bills. And the debt you accrue, right? If you're going to itemize your taxes, you can write off margin interest. If I could spell, it'd be great. Interest against dividends. So some of the dividends, it's actually a distribution is what it is. It comes out as a distribution, and then the fund has to decide at the end of the year, it's called a 19A, they have to decide whether or not it's actually dividends or return of capital. Return of capital is not taxable income, dividends are. And if you get to the point where you're like, I'm going to go out and buy a supercar or whatever, and you're making so much money on dividends because you're doing this effectively, which I hope you are, the margin interest, if you're going to itemize, not if you're going to take the standardized deduction, the margin interest is tax deductible against the dividends, not the distribution, the dividends you collect. You can't take margin interest against return of capital because return of capital isn't taxable income. So I hope that explains it. The biggest thing here really is systematizing. It's time under tension. It's always being allocated to whatever your conviction is 100% of the time. Same thing with working out. It's like you need to keep that blood flowing. That's really the hardest part, is just to stay with it through the long term. It becomes the new norm.